Maythorn Monthly. It's the Maythorn Monthly. Maythorn Monthly. It's the Maythorn Monthly.
When you get off the train at Deansgate, you'll notice that across the road there's a sign that says Deansgate Castlefield. Castlefield is a tram stop on the Metrolink, and it's the other side of a main road. Metrolink has a very fast, frequent and efficient service, and to get across the road there is a bridge, so you don't have to go down to street level. Castlefield is located at the end of the Bridgewater Canal, which opened in 1764. And there's Roman history to the area, the site of the Mamutian forts from 79 AD, which was the start of human settlement in Manchester. Yes, it all began here. An interesting mix of architecture here, as you can see the remains of the Roman fort down below, and towering above are these skyscrapers. They're some of the tallest in the area. Castlefield has always been a transportation hub. It was home to the world's first passenger railway station at Liverpool Road in 1830. Just along the tracks at Manchester's Oxford Road station, there are places to eat and drink on the station approach, and towering high above, in the background you will be able to see the Clock Tower Hotel. History aside, let's look at some modern stuff now. This is an Amazon delivery cycle. I think you'd call this pedal powered or pedal assisted, and it's a way of getting down some narrow streets and back alleys with the Amazon deliveries. I saw this vehicle on Oxford Street, one of the main roads through the area, and I also saw this outdoor living room on the pavement alongside Oxford Street. So the traffic's going by and you're sitting on your sofa just having a cup of coffee. I don't know if it's just me, but when I see a place like this I think, oh, TV studio, place to present a programme from. Well, they've done TV programmes from all over the place in the past, so why not here? So there's the furniture out there at the edge of Oxford Street. Let's grab that in the computer and take it back to our gardens on the Wirral. A bit of reorganisation, and there it is on our front lawn, not where we'd normally sit. Bring a few people in to see how it gets used. Of course, we're using a computer here just to show what would be possible. I'm not suggesting that any of us would want to sit out on the front lawn, because we've got beautiful gardens behind the flats. So where else could we set up a studio or a living space? Well, the aquarium's always been one of my favourite places. So let's get rid of the people, let's drop in some furniture. And this is where we'll be spending a little time. So let's make the couch one of black leather, and we need a cat, of course, to curl up to sleep on it. Now we need some wine, a couple of glasses, and then bring in the people. And now you've got some people who are living in their living room with a huge aquarium behind them to look at. That was an interesting idea, wasn't it? Anyway, we're going to put that one to bed. Just a thought. No, we really are going to put them to bed. Not quite in the way you might imagine. So let's have this Amazon Prime thing. Okay, this is another picture of it which works better. We'll grab it from this picture by the river, stick it into a warehouse, and then we'll bring that into the aquarium as well. Oh, and we need a driver, so here she is. She's bringing it into the aquarium, and we've made it into one of those folding vehicles, one of those sort of transformer type things. Turn it into a bed, and you can sleep here for the night as well. Well, that's my creative stuff for the moment. Good night.
Burnley's buzzing, can you feel it too?
your breath away.
Welcome to the Lancashire town with the cobbled streets. Oh well, okay, Burnley's not the only town with cobbled streets, but it's the one we're going to today because of the Burnley Bungalow Project.
It's a town that steals your breath away.
Well, this man is clearly wiring up some electrics, but where is he? Well, the answer to that is he's above the bathroom with the stretch ceiling, remote-controlled lighting. And this is very much old school in my eyes. I don't do things like this anymore. I use a lot of wireless technology to make things work. But here it is, all hardwired in the way it's been done for decades. And the main thing about that is it's guaranteed to work. The next thing that Steve wants to guarantee is that this is the most insulated property in the whole of Burnley. Yes, he's insulated everything everywhere and has used some of the thickest insulation you'll ever see. And if that wasn't enough, he's filled it in with expanding foam everywhere it's needed. He's taped up all the joints so there's no air gaps. So this is an airtight, highly insulated building, which hopefully should cost zero to run. This is a frame that's going to be behind the wall and is going to hold one of the TVs. This is a smaller TV, not the main living room one. And notice the way that that's also filled with an expanding foam, and the wiring is in place, the back boxes for the sockets. Everything's been thought of here so that when it all gets finally put together, there won't be anything showing at all. Now we're going to go outside because the garden hasn't been started yet, but the design has been done. Now I'll show you the garden design at a later stage, but let's make the preparations for it first. And that involves cutting a hole in this front wall, getting rid of loads and loads of rubble, but it's not going to be a problem. We're in the back garden, of course, and it's not easy to take rubble through down the side passage to the front, but don't worry, it's all going to stay here, as you'll see. It's going to get piled up in front of this wall, and then we're going to bring in the rhino. The rhino is going to take care of the bricks and the concrete and everything else that comes out of here and turn it into something useful. Over the 2 years we've been following this renovation, you'll have seen various different machines at work, and I feel that that's really the secret of the success here, of being able to get the things done the way you want them. Having the right machinery, the right tools and the right people is extremely important. Now this digger wouldn't be much use without its caterpillar tracks because it's having to ride over all the rubble all the time. Later on I'll show you a JCB that I saw which is able to walk round on stilts. Well, not walk, okay. Well, I told you we had a rhino arriving and it's here, and as you can see you put the bricks and concrete in at one end and out the other end comes quite a fine little bit of hardcore that you're going to be able to use for the hard landscaping later. This machine is so useful I can't understand why I haven't seen one before. There are larger and smaller versions of this, and I think it's so good that it deserves a song about it, so I've asked Suno to write us some lyrics.
Steel boots in the gravel, steam breath in the cold gray air. Digger teeth by the morning, scrapers drag the ground back bare. Tipper trucks queue in a circle, engines hum like a rough old choir. We're carving out a clean foundation for grass and trees and winding wire. Red rhino, roll and grind it down, shore.
Well, I already said that you can't easily move all the rubble out down the side path alongside the bungalow, so how do you get a machine this size in? Answer, you bring it through Burnley Woods.
Concrete slabs, old walls falling, shovel loads will rattle a slide. Bucket swing past orange fence and tracks press lines in the hillside. Laser lines mark out the levels, spray paint arrows in the clay. We break it up, we crush it smaller, gardens, bones we're laying today. Red rhino rolling, grind it down, bricks to stone from block to ground. Feed that hopper, hear it chew, turning old to strong and new. Red rhino rolling steady, slow, from broken heaps to beds that grow. All this rubble, dust and roar becomes hardcore, we'll build on shore.
Whoa, it just fits through there.
One day ponds here, one day shade. Kids on paths where trenches were made. We see hedges in this dust. Red rhino sings in soil we trust. Hey! 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 Red rhino rolling, grind it down, bricks to stone from block to ground. Feed that hopper, hear it chew, turning old to strong and new. Red rhino rolling steady, slow, from broken heaps to beds that grow. All the sweat and shaking floor becomes hardcore, we'll build on shore.
So it's not actually an autonomous vehicle, it's got a man remote controlling it, but who knows, one day you might be able to set this thing free. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, they're levelling it all out, ready to have its garden put on top. And this is the point at which I came to visit with my own camera, and I stepped out of the building, and there it was ahead of me, completely flattened and ready to take the garden design. I'm going to save the garden design until later because it's another story altogether. Here's that JCB I was telling you about. So while we were sitting there, we noticed there were a couple of ducks walking about. One of them passed by while I was filming the JCB. Now here's a vehicle that does appear to be autonomous, although it is actually remote controlled from a computer somewhere. And these little gemmers have been bought by Uber Eats to make deliveries for them. So Emma turns up at the food venue, collects the food for delivery, makes her way through the streets, avoiding all the obstacles, all the traffic, seems to be even aware of the traffic lights, and eventually turns up at the home of the person who's getting the food, who presumably has been given a text or some notification to come out and enter the code he's been given to get his food out of Emma. Thank you, Emma. Bye. Now here's another robot that I spotted when I was shopping in Morrison's. I just came in to get a bit of takeaway lunch, and this one was wandering around the store cleaning the floors. Very clever indeed, because it obviously sees ahead of itself, it waits for people to come through gaps, just works its way around the store. Well, it appears to be autonomous to me. Back in the 60s, the BBC had a programme called Tomorrow's World, in which they told us a lot about the future, or the future as we thought it would be, and they introduced Able Mabel. Is it my imagination, or are all these robots feminine? Is that sexist? So, Able Mabel, bit creepy, wakes you up in the morning with a cup of tea, was able to do all the housework, and the robot hoovering that was going on was nothing like the robot hoovering that goes on today, of course, because nobody thought that far ahead. So yes, polishing, dusting, cooking, washing up, even ironing. We could do with that robot right now. One thing that is the same as the modern robot vacs is it plugs itself in when it needs recharging. They do that, don't they? I believe they were predicting that Able Mabel would be available within 10 years, and they said that 1976 was going to be the year when everybody had a home robot.
It looks primitive, but so did the first motor car.
I expect most of you are familiar with these. These are actual robot vacuum cleaners that we have today. They do all sorts of things that were never thought of back in the 60s, but they do plug in and recharge themselves. Unfortunately, they still don't do the ironing. Apparently we are getting nearer to a real robot housemaid. This prototype model was actually built 2 years ago, and they're saying it won't be long coming to market. How do we know that this advert wasn't an AI? And using AI, I can make their robot sing in front of my van. That van went to the scrapyard 10 years ago.
Thank you for watching. IKISS. Goodbye.
Whereas the robot, you can Google it, is in development. We've arrived by train at Telford Central, from where you can get a bus on the far side of the station from where we're looking, or you can walk across the Silver Swallow Bridge, which was built in 2018. This takes you straight across into Telford town centre. From the station, the bridge takes you across two major dual carriageways, and you wouldn't want to be trying to cross those. And you can always tell when a train's just come in, because if you're standing on the other side, or sitting as we were, there's a couple of benches here, the flow of people suddenly appears that have just come off a train. Where do they go from here? Well, they go through the station quarter and up into the town centre. Let's take that route now. We take this trip at least once a year, and we walk through this building site area without really stopping to look. But as it's nearly finished, let's take a closer look now. They're building accommodation, and they're building a sixth form college, and they've already got a few things running, including, on the walk across to the town centre, a bistro. We had to stop there, of course. Well, it was lunchtime. Going back a few years when none of this building work had started, these were the steps that you used to go up to get into the town centre. Now you kind of have to skirt around the outside, but I'm sure they'll open it all up again one day. At this point, you just cross a minor road and look back at the station quarter behind you, and you can see just how much of it's nearly finished. Turning round through 180 degrees, and you're looking slightly uphill at Aldi, which is on the corner of a huge shopping centre. We've showed you a bit of this before. I'm going to try and show you things this time that we haven't looked at previously. Things like this frog clock, which I can't believe we've been coming here for years and years, and we've never come this way through the precinct, but it is pretty huge. It's the main town centre shopping, and it's all under one roof, but you can easily get lost in here. We'll come back to the clock later because the frog does its party trick on the hour, so in a few hours' time we'll have to pop back and see what happens. This is one town centre where they haven't been closing bank branches. In fact, most of the big banks seem to have a branch here, and they all look very well looked after and modernised. Time for Ruth and I to split up. She'd prefer to go into Marks and Spencer's. I'd prefer to go to Greg's. And there are 3 or 4 Greg's around this area. Perhaps the two most useful are the large sit-in cafe, or for people who are just passing through, you can grab a takeaway from a stand in the middle of one of the aisles. The weather was a little overcast on our overnight stay, but nevertheless we ventured out in the morning and went and had breakfast at the Wrekin Giant. Strangely, there weren't that many people sitting out this time of year. We got a table in the window overlooking the Southwater Lake, had our breakfast, and then ventured off to have a look around. We could see the Travelodge through the window while we were having our breakfast, and unfortunately we didn't stay in it this time. It is so well positioned, and we often get a room overlooking the lake. Whereas this time we decided to stay in the Premier Inn. It's set back a bit, it's a bit impersonal, you have to check in on a machine, and really we didn't enjoy our stay very much at all. There's quite a lot of the major eating and drinking places in this area. Some of them do overlook the lake, and Costa is one of those. And with the weather being what it was, we did find ourselves inside having a cuppa several times within the 24 hours we were there. So before we went home, and we had a train at 4 o'clock, we thought we'd better catch the 3 o'clock frog, because by 4 o'clock we won't be in the area, we'll be across the road at the station. And this is what the frog does. And with that, I shall leave you with our mini visit to Telford. As a member of the Class 507 Preservation Society, I've come to Derby to have my picture taken in front of our old train. That's an absolute minimum for today's little visit. Then I climb aboard, and as I walk down the train, it seems, for one, a bit longer than I remember it, and for two, a lot smarter than I remember it. Well, you can see sponsors' names on the seats, so you can probably guess this has had a really good smarten up while it's been down here at the Alstom factory in Derby. Unlike some preserved trains, it's in full working order, and it's a third rail electric unit, and there's a long test track down here in Derby where they can run any kind of train along the tracks, and the third rail electrics are no exception. This has had a 40-mile-an-hour test on that track late last year, and of course some of the preservation team who've been doing a lot of the work got to go on that. I can see a gathering of people ahead, and I have a feeling I know what that is because I was told there was going to be a simulator. And I've no doubt there'll be a bit of a queue for people to have a go at driving the train. simulator software is being run on a PC which is down on the floor behind the simulator itself. I go past all that and go and have a look at the real cab at the other end of the train. Not a lot of interest in this today, but perhaps that's because they're not allowed to blow the horn. There are people working at the Elston factory. This is just a normal working day, and we have to be on our best behaviour as we travel around. As you probably know, I'm a fan of all things computers, and this is the passenger information system. They've got a demo of it outside the train, so you can key in codes. There's a list of codes here, and it will announce various things, and of course it will also print up things on the display.
Passengers travelling to Renton Park should leave the train at the next station and catch the special soccer bus service from outside the station.
The voice on these trains is Julie Berry. She started out on directory inquiries, and she's done quite a lot of train announcements, including some of the major tube lines in London. On the new Class 777 trains, you will still hear some of her announcements, but most of them are now a male voice, which is AI generated. So it appears that the days of real human beings being behind train announcements are pretty much gone, and I think therefore we'll let Julie have the final say on this trip to Derby.
This Merseyrail service to Chester, calling at Moorfields, Liverpool Lime Street, Liverpool Central, James Street, Hamilton Square, Birkenhead Central, Green Lane, Rock Ferry, Bevington, Port Sunlight, Spittle, Bromborough Rake, Bromborough, Eastham Rake, Hooton, Capenhurst, Beach and Chester.
Well, when we went to Derby, we were told not to film anything that wasn't Merseyrail. In other words, didn't belong to the Class 507 preservation. But I have to admit, we were being shown one of the factories where they were building an order for 10 new Crossrail trains, and my camera accidentally came on. We're going to Burnley now just for a revisit. We've been to see how the building's going on, and I promised you a look at the garden design. So, bring on the Burnley bungalow.
Burnley's buzzing, can you feel it too? From the cobbled lanes to the sky so blue.
Now we're going to talk about CAD. It started out as CAD. It's also CGI. It's computer-based generation of, in my case, in video, it's characters. In the case of an architect, they're using AutoCAD or something like that to design buildings. And there are also garden designers who design gardens. Well, that's clever, isn't it? So this is a garden design that Steve Bushby had commissioned for his backyard. The backyard is the place that is being dug up at the moment. And once you've got all the images drawn out, you can then produce stills from all different angles, and you can do a 3D render of the thing you've designed in such a way that it looks as though you're taking a camera or a drone perhaps, flying over the garden and seeing what it will look like. So there we are. We already know what the garden's going to look like, and they're still digging up the foundations for it. Hopefully we'll be able to take you there in a few months' time and show you it being developed. We know from the gardens that are around the flats where I live that it takes a few years for things to grow up properly and look good. But there we are, that's how it actually is at the moment, and we've just shown you a glimpse of the future thanks to CGI or CAD design or whatever you like to call it. Right, here's another design. Hold that one there a minute. Those of you who watch Mrs. Brown's Boys, and I believe there's quite a lot of those about, may recognise this design. It's the CAD design for the studio set, and people sit in the audience and they see the whole of this at once. What you see on TV is only part of it each time, so The set starts at the kitchen, goes on to the living room with the staircase going up, and of course there's a front door going out, apparently onto the street, but just the other side of the door is the pub. And they're all arranged in the studio, straight across like that in front of the audience, and they watch it live, and it must be a lot of fun to go there. Well, if you want to have a look around the studio yourself, guess what? You can now use Google Earth. Yes, BBC Scotland have let the Google Earth cameras in. Actually, it's Street View. Google Earth, Street View, I do get them mixed up, but Street View is giving you a look around the set. It's not the design one that I showed you. It's the actual set, which you can do a 3D tour of at whatever time in history it was actually filmed by Google. So who knew you could do that, eh? So before we leave this subject of design, I was very inspired by this, and the studio with all the different sets, I wanted one. The reason I've let you into my flat today is to show you what I really have at my disposal in the real world, but now I have the tools using AI to create my own multiple location studio system, and I've decided to do that. I actually have asked AI to give me a garden. I specified that this was going to be a place to live, and therefore it had to be protected from the weather. So we got an Eden Project type dome put over the top of it, and that protects the whole idea of what I'm going to do. Inside the dome I want a studio, so I got that designed, and I also want my own garden, so I've got those two things designed, and I'm going to start using them. So if you'd like a look at what that looks like before we go, then here it is.
Hi, I'm Maddie, and I live in this huge garden created under a dome where we can control the weather. If you have ever seen Star Trek, you may be familiar with the holodeck. Just because it isn't real doesn't mean you can't live here. I used to have a miserable life living with my parents in a huge stately home type of house. One day, I decided to pack a small case and take off in my lovely VW camper. That was the turning point for me. I am now happy and free to live my life the way I want to. We've made a music video showing my journey here from my old home. On the way, I rented a flat for a few weeks, and I ran into a 19-year-old man named Brian Smart. He wanted to show me some of the cars he had owned, so we tried to bring them into the video. Eventually, I found this dome and picked a habitat to suit me. I now live in this garden, protected from the weather by the dome. Here's the video I made. I am really fed up with living in this huge old house with nothing to do. My parents get on my nerves as they are so controlling. I need to move on and get a new life for myself. My name is Maddie, and this is my journey.
Dad's voice on the driveway, folded arms, the tilted head, suitcase full of summer dresses, letters I never said. I've got 2 rings in my pocket, her perfume on my sleeve, rear view full of marble columns, front seat saying leave. I'm driving past the iron gate, humming my name hard in a shoebox, hands on the frame, tears on the wheel, but the road feels kind. Backseat lanterns for the dark in my mind. I'm half afraid, but I still go, chasing a life I don't yet know. Mama's pearls in the glove box click once when I hit a turn. They sound like all her questions, the ones I never earned. I passed the school, the rusted swings, the field of winter corn. Who am I if I'm not their daughter in a house of polished thorns? I'm driving past the iron gate, humming my name hard in a shoebox, hands on backseat lanterns for the dark in my mind. I'm half afraid, but I still go, chasing a life I don't yet know. I don't have the words yet, so I sing what I can get. Just this little tune, painting over golden rooms. I'll rent a room above a baker, smell of bread at 5 a.m. Leave my shoes by someone's door, call strangers us and them. Stack my books on crooked shelves, hang my own coat by the stove. Learn to laugh at smaller problems, count my blessings, not their votes. I'm driving past the iron gate, humming my name hard in a shoebox. Hands on the frame, tears on the wheel, but the road feels kind. Backseat lanterns for the dark in my mind. Oh, I'm half afraid, but I still go, chasing a life I don't yet know. Headlights stitching through the dark, new town waiting like a spark. If I forget the words someday, I'll hum my way into that place. I'll stay.
So I've been putting this dome together, and I've put a bedroom in because I thought that was important, place to sleep and all that. But I've missed out something extremely important. I haven't put a place for coffee in here. So I'm going to wander out into the garden now and see if I can make a coffee in that kitchen I saw.
Hold the night close. Good night. Sleep tight.
Hi Brian, help yourself to coffee.
Let your
I'm going to bed
heart
now.
go.